Welcome to the CC Olympia Club at Joe Louis Arena. Before we get started, there's a few people in the audience I need to recognize. First of all, Nick's family, his wife Annika, and three of his sons here today, Adam, Samuel, and Lucas. Welcome. Red Wings owner and Secretary Treasurer, Mary Illich. CEO and President of Village Holdings, Christopher Illich. CEO and President of Olympia Entertainment is here today, Tom Wilson. Red Wings head coach, Mike Babcock. We also have a few other, several former players in the audience today, two of which now work for us as well, Chris Chelios and Chris Draper. Up on the dais today, from your left to right, Red Wings Executive Vice President and General Manager Ken Holland, Captain Nicklas Lidstrom, and Red Wings owner Mike Illich. At this point, I will turn the microphone over to number 5, Captain Nicklas Lidstrom.
Thanks, John. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today, coming down to Joe Louis Arena for this announcement. Today, after 20 seasons as a player for the Detroit Red Wings, I'm announcing my retirement. Before I get into thanking everyone, I'd like to make a few comments about retiring. At some point in time, catches up with everyone and diminishes their ability to perform something you love and care about passionately, comes to an end sooner than what you would have liked. The last 2 years, I waited until after the season was over to assess my ability to play another year. I need to let a few weeks go by to get a reading on my body's ability to recover from the grind of an NHL season. Sadly this year, it's painfully obvious to me that my strength and energy level are not rebounding enough for me to continue to play. My drive and motivation are not where it needs to be to play at this level. That's why I feel that it's time to retire. I'm aware that some people think that my skills have only diminished some and that I can still help the Wings win games. I truly appreciate their support. When I signed with the Wings back in '91, I never envisioned myself playing for 20 years. It's been a great ride. The Red Wings drafted me back in 1989, and hundreds of players and people, coaches have been part of my success, and I never thought this would ever come to something like this, that I would be able to be part of Stanley Cup championships, winning Norris Trophies, having parades through downtown Detroit, something I never even thought about. I'd like to thank some of the people that are here. I can't thank everyone that I played with and been part of my career. This press conference is not that long, but I'd like to mention a few people that's been part of my career here in Detroit. I'd like to start with Mr. and Mrs. I and Chris Illich, the ownership of the Red Wings, for their support over the years, over 20 years, their passion for the game. They're willing to invest and put everything that they have in their product to get something good on the ice and try to win at the end. They've been tremendous owners, great support from me and my family, and I'm truly thankful for what they've done for us. I'd like to thank Kenny, Jim Neal, Jim Along, and Ryan Martin for their support over the years. They've always tried to put a good product on the ice, and they're always telling me that we're going to do whatever we can to win another championship. And Kenny and I have had some what he calls fireside chats where I've told him this probably started maybe 10, 12, 14 years ago that I do have an agent, so I'm not willing to negotiate with you. But he said this is not a negotiation. We're just going to sit down and chat and talk. And he laid out his game plan and his sales pitch, and okay, it worked every time. I never even wanted to leave Detroit. I always believed in this team, in this organization, and what they could do to win another Stanley Cup. I'm very thankful for that. I'd like to thank some of the coaches I've had over the years. Starting in Sweden, when I was 16, I moved away from home, and I got a coach named Per Mortz that took care of me, and I think started guiding me in the right direction to become a solid hockey player. He now is the coach for the Swedish national team. Kurt Lundmark was another coach that I've had growing up. especially in junior hockey, that guided me as well in the right direction. Ben Gustafson was another coach I had in 2006 Olympics when we had a chance to win the gold medal. He was also the player friend as well when we won the World Championships in '91. I'd like to thank Brian Murray for being my first coach in NHL and kind of getting me in the door and giving me an opportunity to play over here. He partnered with me with Brad McCrimmon my first year. We played every game together. So I'm very thankful for what Brian did for me early on in my career. Scotty Bowman came in and I think took my game to another level. He gave me a lot of confidence by playing me a lot, getting me out on the ice, and really pushing me to become a better player. And that gave me a ton of confidence to succeed and excel my career and the way I was playing. Alongside Dave Lewis and Barry Smith, there were other two that was very important to my career. I think Louis was my assistant coach my first year, actually my first 13 years, and he taught me how to play D, how to be a solid two-way defenseman, not just thinking about the offense and being part of the power play, but playing sound defensively in your own zone, not being overly physical, but doing the job to get it done. Mike Babcock coming in along with Todd McClellan, Paul McLean, and later Brad McCrimmon. I think Babs continued to give me the confidence. He showed me and helped me to become a leader on this team. He put me out in all the key situations that forced me, and that's something I wanted to stay at the level where I wanted to be. I was getting up there in age. I was 36, 37, and I wanted to continue to play at the high level, at the top level, and Babs gave me that opportunity. Every night he relied on me and put me out there in the situations that I had a chance to succeed in, so I'm very grateful for that. I've had a lot of teammates over the years with the Wings, and starting with some of the alumni that we see every now and again coming through our locker room: Ted Lindsay, Alex Delvecchio, Gordie Howe. Guys that, if you look around, even in this room, you see a lot of pictures, and we see that in our locker room too, that meant a lot to this organization back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and kind of showed the way to how to play Red Wing hockey. And I think just even for the current players, to have those guys come in, give them an opportunity to talk to them, talk some memories, explain how the game was played back then, just give them a chance to chit-chat with them, I think is very important. So I'm very thankful to meet some of those older players that's been part of this organization for so many years. I played with some great teammates over the years that have been great friends as well, and the best a player could hope for. Steve Eisenman, Brendan Shanahan, Brett Hall, Luke Robitaille, Igor Larionov, Hasek, Mike Vernon, Chris Oska, Chris Draper, Maltz, McCarty, Fedorov, Cicerelli. You can go down the list with Hall of Famers to future Hall of Famers. That's been a pleasure for me to play with. They taught me a lot of things that I think you need to get to the level where I wanted to be. I think you need good teammates around you, and they've been that. I have my current teammates. I know some of them I hear. Homer, Croner is here. Salbert, Abby, Piers is here. A lot of the guys, I might not remember everyone that's here, but the current team, I believe, is a very solid team. We didn't get it done this year because of obvious reasons, but I really like the core group that the Wings have in the locker room right now. I'd like to thank our trainers, Pete Russ, Paulie, JR, Chica, and our doctors. They kind of work in the background. You don't see them a whole lot, but they kind of make everything work. You're hurt, I got your bumps and bruises, but they're taking care of you. I remember a couple years ago I had a knee surgery in mid-August, so the first day I came back, the doctors had surgery on my knee right away. They took care of me right away. Pete came to my house a couple of days after, started doing rehab, and we're talking mid-August. We're not back in September, we're not back in training camp. They're willing to sacrifice their time for the players to get back on the ice and perform to their best abilities. So I'm very thankful for that as well. From our ownership to all my teammates, they're Al, who takes care of the ice, to Frank, who fills up the fridge with water bottles, to Leslie, serving us lunch, all the ushers and people around that you don't see on an everyday basis, but you see them when you come out of the games or when you're here for different events. I want to thank those people to help me and my family, taking care of our family when they're coming to games, making sure they're comfortable. And Veronica's been coming to games with the boys she's been coming for 20 years, and she knows a lot of them personally, and they're very, very nice to my family, and I want to extend my gratitude to them as well. I want to thank media for being real professional to me, and I try to show respect to you. I try to be available as much as I can. Sometimes you can't tell everything that's going on, but I'm sure you understand that you don't want everything to come out, but I try to treat you with respect, and I felt that I got that back from you guys, so I appreciate that. Our fans, when I was injured here late in the season, I had watched a few games up in the press box, and when you're sitting up there, you get a better feel of when you're closer to the fans to feel how passionate they are. You're on the ice, you're in the heat of the moment, you're focused on the game, and you can hear the fans, but you're so focused on what you're doing on the ice. But when you're up in the stands or up in the press box, and you can feel how passionate they are. We're very fortunate as a team and as players to have those fans behind us. And we've seen them during the parades and different charity events that we have as a team. Fans are a big part of this organization, I think a big part of Hockeytown. To my family, I have Annika and my three boys here, Samuel, Lucas, and Adam. My son Kevin, he's over in Sweden. He'll be here in a couple of days, so he can make it out here today. But I'd like to thank my family, and especially Annika, for raising four boys. It's not easy to have a husband that's not home all the time, that's not doing a 9-to-5 job, that's coming home and being there to take the kids to their activities, their events. There's homework, there's dinners to be made. But Annika's been doing all that. She's been amazing. She's an amazing woman. I take a lot of pride in what I've done here over the last 20 years. I take a lot of pride in how hard I work, how I prepare for games, representing my country in different Olympics or World Championships, and representing Detroit, not just the Red Wings, but the city itself too. We see a lot of fans when we travel around North America, and they're showing us great respect. So I take a lot of pride in being a Red Wing, but also being a player that comes from Detroit. It's not that the tank is completely empty. I just doesn't have enough to carry me through every day at that high level where I want to play at. My family and I are completely comfortable with this decision. Retiring today allows me to walk away from the game with pride rather than having the game walk away from me. So, thank you very much.
Mr. Lidstrom. I want to thank everybody for coming out for this press conference. As I look around, you can see it's one of the most emotional days in Red Wing history, with Nick retiring and all you people showing your respect for such a high quality individual. Nick has been a rock from Gibraltar. He has just been a solid leader. The word perfect come up, and I'm saying, hey, let's not get carried away here. Nobody's perfect, but more time that you spend with them, more time you spend with the team as a group, you see how things go, and you get a chance to witness his leadership, and always right there. No variations. Get out there, get the job done, and be a professional. Be a human being, be a good citizen. Don't do things that will hurt your reputation, hurt your team. He doesn't come out and say these things. He says some of them, but by the leadership aspect, it's all cohesive. It all becomes a part of it because of the standards and what he stands for. I'd like to thank Jim Mill and Christian Rockstrom. I got his name, Rockstrom, right? Rockstrom. Yeah. He's our Swedish scout, and he played a big role in allowing us to have Nick here, and Holmstrom, one of my buddies. So I want to acknowledge Jimmy Nill because he's built a great scouting staff and done a great job. Kenny and I have talked a lot about this day. What are we going to say? How are we going to honor Nick? And he said, well, I'll tell you what, Kenny. I'll say a few words because you can talk all afternoon. So I'm going to turn it over to somebody that just is the meat of this franchise from the standpoint of done a marvelous job over the years. He's probably rated as the #1. We got the #1 hockey player, and we got the #1 general manager in hockey and vice president. Kenny, take over.
Thank you all for coming. Just a few words. First off, I guess I've been dreading this day since I became manager in 1997. I think I speak on behalf of the entire Red Wing organization in congratulating Nick first on an incredible career. It's a Hall of Fame career. Thank you for 20 incredible years of service to our organization, to our city. And I think, when you think about Nick, for me, it's about class. Everything that he did was first class, treated the game with respect, treated his teammates with respect, attention to detail, come to the rink every day. He was the best player in practice. I think, and I speak on behalf of coaches that I've worked with, Scotty and Louie and Babs. We always use the word, Nick's no maintenance. The only time Nick is in the coach's office or the manager's office is when we call Nick in to ask him things about the team and how we can get better. Basically when the season starts, you give Nick the schedule, and Nick is there, and it's attention to detail day after day after day after day. He's been an incredible role model, and Nick is going to go down, in my opinion. I've had the luckiest seat in the house for 15 years, since 1997. I've had a front row seat in the press box to watch Nick play. I think he's been the most valuable player of his era. He's going to go down in history as one of the greatest Red Wings of all time, one of the greatest defensemen of all time. Just 10-time first-team All-Star, 2-time second-team All-Star, 7 Norris Trophies, Conn Smythe Trophy, 4 Stanley Cups. What words can you use to describe?
Copyright 2012, AmericaJR.com, Detroit, Michigan, USA.